It's there! Holy moly, this one's gonna go big!
Welcome back to the channel. Just intending to do a quick one for this video, which is to point out that there is a clone of Wild West called Force 10. Now, the previous video on the channel was the Wild West free win, the Emptier video, and I wasn't aware, A, of the existence of this video, and B, of the fact that Force 10 is a straight clone of Wild West. I mentioned in my video that there is a machine called Kung Fu, that's also an ace machine, that is close to Wild West, but it's not a clone. However, Force 10 here basically is a clone. Now, there's a clue in the name that this started off on a £10 jackpot, as did Wild West. It also got an update to £15, as did Wild West, and exactly the same free win emptier persisted into the £15 jackpot of Force 10. It does exactly the same thing when you take that feature. Even the barcode is the same. It's 1, 2, 3, and you go up to 2 lots of £7.60. It adds up to £15.20, and that's 16 quid. And you see, again, you see the bank do exactly the same thing. It knocks the quid down, and then you've got your free win. Now, the difference here, of course, with Guru just playing it here, is that he actually knows what he's doing. It did interest me. I watched this video. I do like James Hardy's channel. I'm subscribed to his channel. I do watch most of his videos, but there's an awful lot in the archives, and I haven't seen all of them. And I hadn't gone looking for this one because I didn't know that Force 10 was a clone of Wild West, so I wasn't aware of this video. So in this one here, you've got Guru just playing the machine, and the thing that I did find interesting was that he basically has the same problems with it that I did, which is there's only one of each of the symbols that you want on the reels. You can need a lot of nudges to get there, and the machine doesn't really like giving super barcodes even when it's super happy, and getting yourself in the sort of setup positions for the let 'em spins or to even be able to nudge it in can be quite difficult. If you watch this video, and I would recommend that you do, you can see just who far more idea about the reel setups and how much nudges you need and all that kind of thing. So you can actually watch someone who's basically playing for the same thing that I was, but who knows what he's doing. But he does say himself when he starts playing that because the machine is pretty dead when he starts playing, it does take a while to get some life in it. And to start with, it really is just dicking him around. So we do have this. I'll just pause that there. I would very, very much recommend, I'll link it in the description on this. Go and watch somebody who knows what they're doing playing that machine. Here is Force 10 in the emulator. Now, I don't think I've ever seen a real one of these over here. I moved to the Isle of Man in 1996. That was when the £8 jackpot had just come in. So I was already here by the time the £10 jackpot arrived. I don't remember ever seeing one of these over here on a £10 jackpot or a £15 jackpot. So if I ever saw one, it would have been when I had visited back in Manchester or was back in the UK for whatever reason. But I've got no real memory of playing a real one. I was vaguely aware of it being in the emulator, but I'd either not played it or hadn't played it much. Either way, it had just never twigged with me that it's basically a clone of Wild West. The only difference apparently between the two of them is that Force 10 can save up to do a £75 repeater. If you get that spinning, if you remember, it did it to me more than once in the Wild West video. On Wild West, it can only repeat to 45. On Force 10, it can actually repeat out to 75. And also, the way that the high-low reel switches the number round on Wild West and Force 10 is the opposite way round. So on Wild West, it switches from left to right, so you can see if you're going to get a super number or not. And on Force 10, it switches from right to left. But it is basically a clone. I mean, I'll just put a few quid in it. There we are. I mean, we're going to have exactly the same problem here that I had with Wild West, which is that I'm not very good at it. One thing that I will say for Force 10 is it's got a much better sample package. than Wild West. So for JPM, of course, often did very, very good sample packages. So if you're going to play either of them, I would probably recommend Force 10. I think I prefer the look of it. It's got a much better sound and music package. As you can... Oh, I mean, there we are. So, see, I mean, we're... Makes this really weird noise when you're doing the high-low gambles. Now, when Just is playing it, he knows oh, look at that. So you can tell it's pretty happy here. Just from that. There are a couple of other little clever, tricksy things that he does. I mean, you can see there we're a million miles away. One thing that he also mentions as well, and I did say this, is obviously, you know, if you can get up to 99 nudges, that's an option if you can get up there. But he's got some other things that he can do along the way as well. Couple of little clever sort of tricks that he does in there to help him get that super barcode. But if it wants to play, obviously I can guarantee myself the bonus there, but it's no use to me. It does show you though, of course, how very much the code bases on these machines are identical, because Ace and JPM were sort of one company at this point, but this really does bring it into sharp focus just how much they are the same, because they're clearly using the same code base here. I mean, this is a happy machine. We know that already, but there's nothing there, is there? Bing! I mean, it's gambling pretty far, but it doesn't like you having it there. That is the problem. I mean, in fact, we can see there the double is right underneath it. This triple's miles away. So the double's fairly close there. That's not really going to help me very much. So, how far? And you see again and again. And one other thing as well, by the way, is if you get the 45 rolling on Wild West, that doesn't kill the machine, because it's a what don't hold there bollocks, because it's basically at maximum happiness at that point. Even the rolling for the 45 doesn't kill it. Now, in fairness to myself, I did basically say that is that, you know, the machine isn't leveling out its percentage or anything when it does that. It's just taking the top off the compensator. But it's not even that serious. You can just kind of not even worry about it. If it spins in and does the 45, it's no biggie. You can just carry on. I mean, where can we... I mean, see, that obviously then that's not going to spin anywhere. I mean, that doesn't help me, because there's just no numbers, and that's obviously going to go. That's obviously going to go straight past, and I don't think... I mean, yeah, let's just try that. See, I mean, that just did not really help me there at all, did it? So I'm going to struggle here in all exactly the same ways that I did with bloody Wild West. Yeah, it's quite a high intensity sample, that, isn't it? So, I mean, if we can just see one of them, I mean, obviously you can go and see it in James. I mean, that's again there, that's... I mean, there's a potential there. How many am I for the let 'em spin? It's not, is it about 8 for the let 'em spin? Oh, you bastard. See, now that one there, I mean, again, I mean, yeah, I don't even know where that's going to go, to be honest. And then, I mean, that's not really... Oh, so I'll hold that there. Oh, that did bring the treble close-ish, but... Oh, now there's a good one. Right, so there is a good one. Right, okay. So, give us a decent bow. I can't look at that number to gamble on. Oh, you can see there. And again, it does do it to Just in his video. It doesn't matter how happy the machine gets. It's never particularly keen. Oh, now we've got the same thing here. So that's not super. Your super number there is in the middle. So that's really annoying, because Mega Climb is the feature that I want, but that isn't super. And now it can go back, but obviously so that's really annoying. Mega Climb is the 1, 2, 3 feature. That is the one that you want, but it didn't have the super number in the middle there. So I'll try and play it out. And what we'll probably find, I mean, when it did the spinning for he just wasn't phased at all, really. He was just a bit like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. I mean, oh, that span past that. That was a fucking stupid hole anyway. I'll hold that. Oh, it's dicked me again there, hasn't it? See, look at that. I mean, we're clearly talking about a happy machine here because it's prepared to do that. Da-da. Oh. I mean, one thing that he does as well that I did is you can use the activate feature. He's got a couple of extra little tricks that he can do when he has the activate feature to try and help himself with that. But he was dealing with the same kind of setups and the same kind of dilemmas and challenges that the machine was facing him with that I was being faced with. So I quite enjoyed watching a player who actually had some skills doing it. I think this is going to do a bloody spinning here before long, isn't it? Oh, look at that. I think it's going to do the spinning jackpot before too long, but you don't have to sweat it particularly. Although I guess if the Force 10 could do a 75, that would be a... Oh, nudge stepper. Right, now then. Right, okay. Is that okay? Hang on a minute. Oh, no, it's going to just be the straight bark. Oh, that's fine, yeah. It's the super. Right, okay, there we are. Now, this should be super. There we are. Right, okay, there. Fat. So, 1, 2, 3. See there, it's mega climb. And just watch. There we are. You need the super number in the middle on this. And it's going to do exactly the same thing. Let's just stop it. So remember, watch the bank. It does the same thing as Wild West. No, the same 16 as well. You'll see it here. Bosh. There you go. There's your free win. So clearly the same code here. So it does show you when they were doing these clones, that shows you very, very clearly how like they're running essentially the same code base. They'll change the text. Obviously, what they've had to do here is change the text so it's, you know, telling you about different features, and the attract mode will tell you it's Force 10 instead of Wild West. Well, that tells you with absolute clarity. So they're saying JPM presents Force 10. On the other one, it says, you know, Ace whatever presents Wild West. But the code that's running these things is clearly in that case exactly the same. Now, in case you're wondering why High Karate is here, High Karate is a slightly later clone of Wild West by Crystal. A couple of years later, Force 10 and Wild West came out in 1997, and then in 1999, Crystal released High Karate. Now, if you remember Crystal, they were very much a rebuild company, really. Their machines were generally found on the £5 jackpot or the £8 jackpot, whatever it may be. The sort of seaside arcade machines that you very rarely, in my experience, saw Crystal machines in the pub, because they would be 2, 3, 4 years down the line, so they weren't new machines anymore, and they would rebuild them for a £5 jackpot. Now, this layout was released with a £5 jackpot, but the ROMs switch to £15 30p. So just ignore the decals there, because I've got this running on a £15 jackpot. I've done a factory reset on it, and it has reported back the stake and prize correctly. So what we're going to do is try and achieve exactly the same thing. Now, it's not got... I don't think it's got much life in it. So rather than... Because you know what I'm fucking like, trying to hack around with these things, getting it set up. But this really does play, it's Wild West. Slightly different sample package. They've changed things around a little bit in terms of the graphics, but even the basic layout of the machine is the same. So, oh, hang on a minute. Could we get... Oh, no. Okay. Oh, same again. Not a million miles away there. The way that you tell if you've got the super feature on this is the same as Wild West. It's down to the numbers that you've got on the high-low reel, but this layout is missing the symbols to indicate when you've got a super feature. So I've got, what I've actually got here, you can't see, it's off on the other screen, is I've got the cheat sheet that I used for the Wild West video. So I can see when I've got the, I mean, I should have remembered them by now, but there we are. So what I will do is when I've got the super barcode ready, I'll bring you back at that point. Oh, I mean, how far? And because I'm playing it from a factory reset, it'll probably need a little bit of money through it to get some life into it as well. So leave it with me. We'll be back in a moment. Right, this should be it here now. So I've got enough nudges. I just need to get the super number. So 29 isn't one of them. 5-4 is, I think, isn't it? Yeah, 5-4 is one of them. So there we are. So that should do it. So let's collect that. And obviously we want the barcode. We don't want to auto nudge the win. There we are. Now it's the same barcode. It's 1, 2, 3. Now you know what you're looking out for.
Oh, you're the best in China. Hey, you, line them up.
Just watch. Now remember, we know what we're looking for. Just watch where I won't stop it. Watch, watch, watch. Oh, did you see that? It only goes up to £7. Oh, that auto collected there. I didn't actually stop that. So, as you can see, by the time this got, so it just stopped short of a jackpot there, but you saw it only climbed up to £7.40. It did the same thing. They both go up really slowly at the same time, but they stopped at £7.40. Add two of them together and that gives you, of course, £14.80, rounds up 20p to the jackpot. So what we know there is that Crystal fixed this. By the time Crystal did their rebuild a couple of years later, so that's not a free win. It doesn't mean to say that the machine won't be prepared to pay something else. Doesn't even matter what I stop it on there. Let's just collect it out. There we are. So we'll just collect that out. So obviously that is not a free win. The thing that made this free on Wild West and Force 10. Oh, we haven't got. Oh, we've got no bloody 20p coins in this one. So that's a little bit like me emptying the Wild West for real. Except I lost a real machine out of that. So there you go. That just struck me as interesting because somebody mentioned over at Desert Island Fruits that there was a crystal rebuild of this called High Karate. I went through the archives and found this old DX for it, loaded it up, saw if the ROMs would switch to £15, and they did. And what I found there was that they'd fixed it. So that does sort of pose the question why Ace never fixed Wild West and JPM never fixed Force 10. Because they, by all accounts, those on the 15 quid never got a rechip. They remained doable forever. And yet when Crystal released this in 1999, even though it was mainly a £5 machine, they also fixed that error with the free win. So it was clearly known about. This is the thing. It tells us that they knew that this issue was out there, that why would you make that change on a machine that plays exactly the same in every other way, but you make that change to the feature and fix that problem with the free win, and yet Force 10 and Wild West were left out in the wild by all accounts forever, which is why we've still got one in the arcade here, which just is able to play and empty. So like I say, I'll link to that video in the description of this one so you can watch it for yourself. So I just thought I'd do a little bit of a follow on. I'll leave it there, nothing else to say really, just to sort of, I like to kind of box these things off, and it felt worth mentioning that there was a clone called Force 10 that had exactly the same thing on it, but also that we've got this crystal rebuild of the same game. It's a clone of the game, but by this point they'd fixed the free win. So that's it. I think that finishes the tale of Wild West and Force 10. So thank you very much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch up with you next time. But for now it is goodbye.